Hey everybody, welcome to Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Cory Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, what a lovely Sunday it is, and welcome to Palm Tree Sports on StreamYard. It's been a long time coming, I'm glad to be here. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. Well, we're going to turn it into a lot. I mean, obviously, there's the dilemma of Florida with the Panthers. Do they want the cup or do they not? That's the question that remains to be answered. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow, specifically. But we'll get into that a little bit later. The Rays, they're not very well. They're not very good right now. I hate to see them performing this way, but we can talk about them, or we could not talk about them, actually. Men's baseball, college World Series, man. Florida and Florida State gave it everything they had, didn't they? So proud of those boys. It's unfortunate how it ended, but you know what? That's okay. There's always next year. In the NBA, there's some questions. Free agency approaching. Boston wins the NBA championship. What's next? Well, we'll talk about that and so much more coming up. You know, if there's anything that you guys want to see more of coming to Florida, don't hesitate to let me know as we get deeper into the show, guys. Throw it in the chat. Give me a heads up. You know, anything that's on your mind, I'm open, and I love to see what you guys think. I mean, honestly, how else are we supposed to give you what you want without knowing, right? So, you know, that's going to be a very interesting thing to get into further. But of course, in the off season right now, we're missing our Tampa Bay Buccaneers and our Dolphins and our Jaguars. Okay, so not so much the Jaguars, but we're still missing the Bucs and the Dolphins. Shout out Duval, we love you. You know, but no, seriously, there's a lot of questions up there in Jacksonville right now, and I can't wait to see what's going to come out of there. You know, what's going to come out of that gauntlet in Duval County. Not as many questions here in Tampa. We're happy. We're baking. You know, we're baking, baby. Miami, they think they have the best receiving core in the NFL. And they might. Evans and Godwin might have something to say about that, though. But, you know, we also have the GOAT, so that helps out a lot as well. Yeah, man. You know, MLB, gosh, bro. The Rays. I mean, I don't know what kind of team we have. We got people getting hit in the face by 100-mile-an-hour fastballs, straight heaters down the pipe. I mean, jeez. If you saw that, look away. You know, if you didn't see it, don't look. Simple. No broken bones, though. So that's a plus. You know, you see something like that, it's a little scary. But our boy's okay. He's moving around just fine. He'll be back. Not anytime soon, but he'll be back. Yeah, man. You know, it's literally wonderful to be here in sunny South Florida. But in any case, guys, you guys can check this out. Palm Tree Sports _IE. You can check me out on X, formerly Twitter, at Cory, and also the link to my IE Sports, my Palm Trees IE Sports Radio link is there as well. Also check out IE Sports Radio / Palm Tree Sports, the website. And don't forget about the merch, guys. Jump on the website, get you a shirt, get you a hat, bro. IE Sports Radio /shop has everything you're going to need there. So, you know, but listen, guys, let's go ahead and get into our sponsors. You know, for those of you who do not know, we are sponsored by Planet, Planet Jerky, premium beef jerky, the jerky that is on a whole nother planet, guys. Some of the best jerky in the world. And Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. Go check her product out, especially if you're sending a love letter, anything that's important, whether it be family or ship related, guys. Get your seals with Cecilia B. Okay. In any case, guys, my name is Cory Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, guys. And again, a message from our sponsors. Let's get into it.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and Follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
That's right, you guys. Check her product out. Phenomenal work, as you guys can see here. Some of the best seals in the world, in my opinion. Of course, I'm biased, but that's neither here or there, guys. Excellent work, Cecilia. And of course, Planet Jerky. You know, jerky that's on a whole nother planet. Gotta pay the bills, guys. Gotta pay those bills. So shout out to our sponsors. We really, really appreciate you guys. Make sure to check them out on Instagram, of course, or wherever you can find them. Look online, of course, and then get on the website, get on IE Sports Radio website and go check out everything else that we have to offer, our other shows, of course. And, you know, the aim here is to be able to talk about all sports in all states. And we're well on the way there. So welcome back, though, to Palm Tree Sports Radio, where we're going to cover everything in the Sunshine State. My name is Cory Pujols, your host. And as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. You guys see Batman? Yeah, Gotham City's in Tampa, if you didn't know. It's actually in Tampa. It's not in New York. It's in Tampa. That's neither here nor there. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the show. Just a couple of quick shout outs real quick. Ralph, Taryn, I see you guys. Always a pleasure to have you guys in the building. Much appreciated. Let's have a phenomenal show, guys. A couple other shout outs to my family and friends out there. If you're listening, I love you. I thank you so much for being here. To all those who listen and to support the show. And of course, IE Sports Radio. Larry, Taryn, all the work that you guys do behind the scenes, man, it never goes unnoticed. So thank you so much for all your work and dedication, guys. And with that being said, let's get started. Let's start talking about what's going on here, right? So obviously, first things first, Brady, right? Listen, y'all are going to see this jersey on me a lot, all right? I'm going to go ahead and give a quick tidbit on this. For those of you who remember, a few years ago, Tampa Bay hosted a Super Bowl that we played in, okay? So I'm not one to just spend money on anything, but I absolutely adore and love my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, okay? So me and my dad had this conversation, and he said, you know, son, what jersey are you going to get? And I said, you know, I'm going to get an Evans jersey, right? It makes sense. I mean, like, he's the best thing that has happened to Tampa Bay in the last 15 years, aside from Brady himself. He's literally probably the greatest Buccaneer. He's probably going to go down at least as the greatest Buccaneer when you look at what he was able to bring to this city. I think that I can't really explain it, but there's definitely a change that took place when we drafted Mike, right? So it made sense for me to get an Evans jersey. And then literally as we're having that conversation, the same year, Tom Brady comes to Tampa. So Tom Brady had always been my favorite quarterback. And if you watched the Patriots' first 3 Super Bowl appearances, you see why. All 3 of those teams beat Tampa Bay to get there. So it was one of those things where it was really frustrating to watch the teams who beat Tampa Bay play in the Super Bowl, but it was very gratifying to see Brady, you know, get those W's. So him coming to Tampa Bay was a full circle moment, and that's how it ended up being the Brady jersey. Also, this is the Super Bowl. This side right here, Super Bowl logo jersey. For those of you who can see it, I actually worked the Super Bowl event. I helped. I literally helped them set the entire thing up at Raymond James Stadium. So that was such a phenomenal time. Had a lot of fun. Met a lot of people. Russell Wilson was there. Who else was there? Shannon was there. Rich Eisen was there for a split second. There were a ton of people that were there that was just absolutely amazing to meet, including all the people that came from Kansas City as well. There were a bunch of Kansas City fans here, some of them born and raised in Tampa. So you'll be surprised to see how far that Chiefs kingdom reaches. But what an amazing game that was! 31-9, Tampa Bay took that Super Bowl home. And, as a result, I had to go get, something to commemorate it. And this is what it was. So long live Tom Brady, greatest quarterback ever. Love that guy. Even saw the house that he was living in over on Davis Island. It was pretty cool, too. It seemed like a house for a goat. So, but in any case, guys, that was just a little tidbit on the Super Bowl jersey. And you guys will see more of it for sure as we continue on through StreamYard. But, guys, I do apologize for that knocking noise. I do know where it's coming from. I just can't stop it at the moment. So just bear with me. I'm going to do what I can to contain it. And in the meantime, between time, let's go ahead and move on into what I have in store for you guys today. I have a little bit of NBA, some MLB, some college baseball. Of course, we'll talk about what happened there with the Gators. And then, of course, we will also talk about what's going on with the Panthers because, man, what a debacle this would be for them to lose Game 7. But I think we'll save that for later. First things first. NBA free agency is upon us, okay? So congratulations to Boston. I wish y'all lost, okay? But congratulations in the spirit of sporthood, You guys have a great team, all right? Great all-around team. Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. I've been saying this for years, okay? I'm at this point, I'm tired of them trying to force Jason Tatum down our throat. Jaylen Brown is the best player on that team, okay? He took away the finals MVP. Congratulations to him for that. But also, now that they're NBA champions, and congratulations again, like I said, there's nothing but a target on their back. We saw what happened to the Denver Nuggets this past year, and I suspect that something similar is going to happen to the Celtics. First things first, the Celtics get a lot of love. Okay, when I mean a lot of love, I don't mean like a lot of love from everybody else surrounding them. Most people who don't live in Boston don't like Boston. Okay, so that's just the nature of that beast. And realistically speaking, I don't like them either. I don't. I mean, I don't hate the Celtics, but I don't like them. Okay, they're not as bad off as Ohio State. Like I despise Ohio State. Okay, now it's not the state that I despise. It's just the Ohio State University, right? Cleveland's good. Cleveland's good. Cincinnati, fine, no problem. Okay, but yet no. Okay, you get what I'm going with that? Just no. Realistically speaking, next year, depending on what happens in free agency, could be a tall tale sign of what to expect coming out of the East. And like I said, with the Celtics having that, that mark on their back, these teams are going to be coming for them. They're going to be building their teams to defeat the Celtics, right? Like that is typically what tends to happen. We saw that in the West, right, with the Timberwolves, right, defeating the Nuggets the way they did, and so handily, may I add. Definitely one of the more enjoying moments we had during the NBA playoffs because we weren't sure if the Nuggets could be stopped, right? So that's an example of what I mean. I fully expect that Orlando will be one of those teams next year. Orlando, speaking of, who are they looking at in free agency, right? Like it's not hard to see that they played so well this past season. I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to play on the level that they did this early on. Even I thought that they were about 2 years out from finding this kind of success. But now that they have it, that also means that all these other teams are going to take them more seriously, which means it's time to bolster that team. You need a veteran presence. You need somebody who's going to be a scorer and somebody that can also lead without being on the court. So Klay Thompson is one of those guys that kind of comes to mind. The issue that I have with signing Klay Thompson is, one, he's pretty much out of his prime, right? He's been through, a devastating injury that he hasn't really recovered from. Maybe he has physically, but mentally, he's not the same player that he was, Jesus, I can't believe I'm saying this, but 8 years ago. Okay. He's not that same guy, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So it's a real question mark with Klay Thompson. I think the better question is there somebody that can give you what Klay Thompson can give you, or maybe a little bit less, right? But at a more consistent rate and without the question mark of how successful they're going to be, right? So with Klay Thompson, he was, I hate to say it like this because I have respect for Klay, but he was never better than Steph, right? Like even when Steph was having all his ankle injuries and all those, he can't jump and this, that, and the third. Yeah, he was never better than Steph because Steph's creativity and his range was just otherworldly, right? Like his creativity and his range alone were enough to baffle defenders and still does. I mean, realistically speaking, again, he's still one of the very best point guards to ever do it. And there's no signs that he's slowing down any. Klay, on the other hand, suffering the injury that he did, it was one of those things where you look and you say, these kind of injuries change a man. And how is it going to change him? Is he going to become more of a leader if he's going to become more of a facilitator? Or is he going to be one of those few guys that we've seen in the past, like Adrian Peterson, right? Where he gets injured and he comes back and somehow he's better. Like you guys remember that? Adrian Peterson broke his knee off and then he was back in like 8, 9 months and just absolutely went on a wrecking spree, like at running back position. I mean, the guy was flawless. For a year and a half, the guy was absolutely flawless after that injury. So that's something else that I think that we have to determine for Orlando is if they want that version of Klay, if they want a version of him that's going to be more, again, of a leader, more of a stage presence than an actual, dominant, you know, uh, Paolo Banchero is the guy, all right? He's the guy, right, for Orlando. And he's a wizard. He's great. So we don't need Klay to come in and be a wizard. We just need him to come in and be a great shooter when we need a great shooter. Right. So that's something for Orlando taking consideration, especially as they're looking at their different options. There are going to be other options, but the question is, what's the match made? And I think that that's one of those ones that it could actually have the payoff, that Orlando needs. So, but that's Orlando, right? That's a team that finished, looking up, right? Like their whole future is nothing but upwards from here, right? There's little chance that they get worse than this unless they make some terrible business decision, right? So with that concept in mind, here's a team that can't afford to make a terrible business decision right now, and that's the Miami Heat. All right. So you got Jimmy Butler, all right, one of the 10 best players in the NBA at the moment, all right, and he's coming off of another very rough playoff exit, and you ask yourself, okay, well, what does Miami Heat need? Well, you have Jimmy Butler, right? So you have a dog. You have somebody whose mid-game range is lethal, right? Somebody who's a leader on and off the court, somebody that has and continues to instill faith in the same team that he plays on, and a guy who plays his heart out, right? So what you compare that with is somebody else that does something similar, right? The question is, who would be that guy? It's hard to say. Paul George, I think, would be the guy that I go after if I'm Miami. When I look at Paul George, he's an underrated defender. Okay. Same with Jimmy. Jimmy, I don't know. There are times where Jimmy's a better defender, but Paul PG-13 he's an underrated defender. He's a terrific scorer. Definitely another one of those players that I would consider to be in top 10, 15 in the world right now. His time with the Clippers has been questionable. Obviously, when you have a team that like what they have, it's hard to understand how they haven't found the success that some of these other teams have found, like the Nuggets or the Timberwolves. But you also realize that it might be time for a change of scenery. That team has been pretty based for a while now, and so has Miami. And I think that a move like PG-13 to Miami could potentially be big for both of them. PG would have the ability to, kind of extend a little bit more than he does when you have so many superstars on the same team, whereas Miami, we have really just one, right? I mean, two, technically, Bam Adebayo, right? Like, Bam is a terrific talent. He's phenomenal. One of the very best big men in the game. So there's a lot to really take in consideration here. Paul George to Miami could be the move, okay? Now, what we would give up, I mean, I've seen people say Tyler Hero and, Duncan Robinson and like a second rounder. I've seen, people say, everybody that's not, Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to what Miami feels like they're lacking. I think that they're lacking, aside from Jimmy and what he brings to the table, just more of it, right? Like somebody else that can help him close, somebody that can help shoulder the burden that can help absolve Jimmy of the double teams when he experiences them, especially when he gets hot. Because when he gets hot, that's when teams really try to put their hands on him and whatnot. And it's one of those things that will tire any basketball player out over time. I think that, Paul George will probably be a great fit for Miami, as long as he can stay healthy, of course. So there's a ton of guys to look at, man. There's a ton of guys to look at. I mean, who knows? Who really knows, who Miami is going to go after at this point? But, that's neither here nor there. Both of these teams are going to make good moves, I believe, during the offseason. I think that both of them have the ability to trend up, but I think Orlando is further on the up and up. They've played tremendous team basketball. They really only lost. Excuse me. They really only lost when they were in situations where they were facing a more skilled opponent, and I mean that on paper, like literally, like when they're facing um like teams like Boston, who has everybody healthy. Of course, Orlando beat Boston quite a few times throughout the regular season. For the record, guys, I can't remember exactly how many times it was. I know it was at least three. But I'll go back and look at that stat, and I'll get that information to you guys. But Orlando was one of those teams that found success against Boston, and that's alarming considering how young they are. So I look forward to seeing Boston evolve more into a team, or my bad, Orlando evolve more into a team like Boston, and eventually overtake them in the East. Uh, yes, yeah, Ralph. It's a Brady jersey. You already know. Like that's my guy. Like I said before he even you know, came to Tampa Bay, as a Tampa Bay fan, you're looking at, the Carolina Panthers, you're looking at the Eagles, and you're looking at the time, the St. Louis Rams, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Greatest Show on Turf. You guys remember that? Well, they beat Tampa Bay to get there, guys. And so as a result, for a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, when they really sit down and think about it, there's no reason to hate Brady. There's literally no reason to hate him. You love him. Even when he was in New England, you love him. He was the best part about New England. Didn't care too much about Bill Belichick. Great head coach, great, wonderful mind. But the guy who made it happen was Tom Brady. And, it's no different than the Yankees down here as well. For those of you who do not know, the Yankees have a second home here in Tampa, Florida. I'm literally not making this up. Down at Steinbrenner Field, they play spring baseball every year. So it's an example sort of like that, where him coming to Tampa was just a full circle moment. And so yes, as a result, I had to I'm sorry guys, here, let me take this out real quick. I apologize, but I had to go get a Brady jersey. I had to. It was a requirement, if you will. But yeah, absolutely Brady jersey. The next one is going to be Evans, for sure. That should be coming this year. Guys. I'm actually in the process of moving, so after that, it's going to get a lot easier, to be able to well, for everything, honestly. But yeah, Evans jersey is next. After that, I don't know. I've been thinking about a few different guys. I think obviously Godwin's up there. I loved Baker Mayfield in college when he was at Oklahoma, so it could be a Baker jersey. Could be a Rashad White jersey. Could be a Bucky Irving jersey. Shout out Bucky Irving. Get ready to hear that name a lot on ESPN. Guys, the guy's a wizard. I promise you he is. Antoine Winfield Jr., best safety in the league. All right. I mean, got a ton of options here for the next Buccaneer jersey that I'm gonna get. But I think the question is, whose jersey do I want in white, right? Like obviously the red was gonna be like the first, right? Like that's what Tampa Bay is known for. Like when you think Tampa Bay, you think about the red before the white. So the next one I think would be white. But then does that mean should I get Godwin or Evans? Put that in the chat, guys. Tell me what jersey you think I should get next for Tampa Bay. Okay. The jerseys that I'm working on for baseball, I want to get a Randy Rosarina jersey, obviously, for the Rays. Always been a fan of Randy. Dude's absolutely phenomenal, Randy Land, as he calls it. And then for the Bolts, Stamkos, which I had a Stamkos, like the shirt jerseys that they have, guys, the ones that you can get at like the malls where they have like the sports stores in the mall. I had one of those and it disappeared on me. Maybe one of my old roommates stole it or something. I mean, I don't know. Everybody likes the Bolts, right? Like, how do you live in Tampa and not like the Bolts? So, but yeah. So Big Ben, yeah. Hey, listen, man. Big Ben, yeah, Hall of Famer, man. Hall of Famer. Shout out Pittsburgh. I got family. Love them some Pittsburgh. So yeah, shout out Big Ben. Shout out Pittsburgh. And Doug Williams. Yeah, Doug Williams was drafted by Tampa Bay, actually, ironically speaking, guys. For those of you who do not know, Tampa Bay has a rich history of drafting potential Super Bowl winners. Okay. Doug Williams, one. Here's one that you guys might be surprised to hear. Steve Young. Okay. That's right. Played in Tampa. Um, I don't remember if Vinny Testaverde ever won a Super Bowl, but Vinny Testaverde was in a Buccaneers uniform at one point in time, and I believe Trent Dilfer also was. For those of you who remember Trent Dilfer, so there's some names that you kind of look back and you're like, what the heck? This guy played for. Yep, they surely did. They surely did. So, but yeah, old school Doug Williams goes hard, man. There's a for those of you who may not have seen it, go on YouTube and go look at Doug Williams touchdown pass, sitting down, because if I remember correctly, that was him. He's it was second and goal or something like I can't remember. Long story short, Doug Williams takes a snap. He slips and falls. He's on the ground, throws a touchdown pass. So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. In any case, guys, yeah. All NFL all day is gonna be Tom Brady. Buccaneers, ride or die. Uh, that'll never change, right? That'll never ever change. But like I said, next jersey will be Mike Evans. I'm almost 100% positive it's going to be Mike. So, but hey, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hey guys, listen, let's go ahead and talk about college baseball real quick before we get into our first break of the evening. Okay. So with college baseball, as I was saying before earlier during my intro, uh, so both Florida State and the Florida Gators. All right. So Florida State Seminoles, Florida Gators, University of Florida Gators made it to very 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 close to the college baseball World Series. And when I mean really really close, I mean like FSU finished what they were defeated just before the Gators were defeated. The Gators were defeated by Texas A&M after their initial victory in the double elimination game is what it was. So they played a game earlier in the day, right? Won that game, and then they went on to play a game later that day and they lost that game. So Florida State, they lost the first game they played. So unfortunately, they were knocked out before the World Series could collide. But man, listen, amazing seasons, absolutely amazing seasons by these two ball clubs. I mean, realistically speaking, Florida State was a bit of a surprise, right? You're in the same conference as Clemson, so you're like you're staring down the gun barrel already. But Florida State held their own. They played phenomenal baseball, and they ran out of gas just like the Gators did. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no other way to look at it. It is what it is. It's unfortunate for us, but there's a lot to build on here. A lot of success was found, and there's a lot of continuity behind that success. These programs know exactly what they're doing. The Gators have just been on tremendous roll over the last decade when it comes to baseball. Florida State is just storied in all sports in general. I mean, they're eventually going to be a phenomenal team, whether it's today or tomorrow. And so when you know that about a specific program, and more specifically, both of those programs are down the street from each other, it's one of those things where there's a lot of camaraderie there. Even though I'm a Gator first, I got to show some respect to the Noles, and everything that they do. The only time I haven't showed respect to them is when they called out Georgia, okay, because that was stupid. Florida State, y'all remember that? Y'all remember when y'all were crying about not going to the national championship game, and then y'all played Georgia, and Georgia put like 60 on y'all? Welcome to the SEC. In any case, uh, realistically speaking, these ball clubs have a bright future ahead of them, and I'm super proud of them, especially our boys in blue and orange. And speaking of our boys in blue and orange, gotta send a shout out to the best ball player in college baseball right now, Jack Caglione. Okay, kid's a monster. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he shattered the record for SEC home runs in a season, and he also broke the Gator record for home runs as far as his career is concerned, his entire time and tenure at Florida. Jack, best of luck to you on the next level. You're going to be an absolute stud muffin. I can't wait to see what you are able to bring to the table for whatever team drafts you, and to whatever team drafts Jack. Congratulations, you got a good one. You got a real good one. So it was a pleasure to watch him. He was hitting none but bombs all year. If you guys haven't seen Jack's tape, I encourage you, go somewhere. I don't go to ESPN, go to X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, and just type in Jack Caglione and watch this guy hit dingers. And I mean straight jacks, like that way, like to the ocean. Okay. Guy is phenomenal. Guy is absolutely phenomenal. But like I said, hell of a season by both of those teams. Congratulations to both of them on making them so far. And I can't wait to see what they're able to do next year. And Jack, again, good luck on the next level, my friend. I can't wait to see what you do in the MLB for sure. But listen, guys, let's go ahead and get into our first break of the evening. When we get back, we'll wrap things up with what's going on with the Rays and the Panthers, and then I'll leave you guys with some food for thought. But until then, keep it locked here at Palm Tree Sports Radio. My name is Cory Pujols, your host, and as always, it is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Listen, guys, if you like tennis, that's the show. That's it. And same thing for volleyball, bro. I said tennis. My apologies, guys. I meant volleyball. I'm looking at tennis right now as we speak. But nonetheless, Taryn knows what he's doing. T-Rod in the building, man. Wonderful show. I've gotten to listen to it a few times. A lot of the time, it comes on when I'm at work. So if you guys are like me, turn it on when you're at work, bro. Throw that ear pod in or get it on your car radio if you're driving, whatever the case may be. But check it out. If you like volleyball, that's the one for you guys. Now then, realistically speaking, and welcome back to Palm Tree Sports Radio. Again, my name is Cory Pujols, your host. And as always, this is brought to you and powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, realistically speaking, I don't know what's happening right now. But I really hope it's not that infamous debacle in Golden State where they were up 3-1 and they failed to close it out against Bron, and then Bron does what GOATs do, and that's, do things that have never been done before. Well, there's a similar thing taking place in the NHL for the Stanley Cup. So on one side, you have this what's starting to become legendary state that shouldn't be legendary for hockey, right? So we've had over the last 5, all right, Stanley Cups from this side of the U.S., it's been Florida teams the last 5 years, okay? You've had 3 years in a row of the Bolts, right? They won 2, finished runner-up on the third one, and then you've had back-to-back years by the Panthers. Now, I'm a Tampa Bay guy, which makes me a Bolts guy, right? When I tell you that the Panthers are not the Bolts, that statement could be like legitimately personified tomorrow if they fail to win this game. I don't know what's going on, but it's a little scary. It's a little bit scary, okay? So the Panthers, here's some context for those of you who don't have any context, okay? Here's the deal. The Panthers just went crazy in the East, okay? They just Rangers, okay, cool, done. Bolts, okay, cool, done. Like, who else, right? Like, they were just taking names and leaving, right? Like, they just pull up, have a couple of drinks, leave the tab, and leave the bar, and just people are just sitting there like, I want to be like them. So then they get into this, and they start routing the Edmonton Oilers, okay? Just start going crazy. Like, 3 games, boom, 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 right? All of a sudden, it's 3-3. If you would have come to me a week and a half ago and you tell me that this series was going to reach a game seven, I'd be like, okay, you're smoking crack. There's no way. I don't believe that. This team is on fire right now, on ice, but on fire. Okay, not anymore. Not anymore. The Panthers are in a very dark place right now. I don't know what's going to happen with them. I if you it's a tell tape, right? You look at the first three games, it looked like one team just had the other team figured out. You look at the last three games, and there's a mixture of, did this team just run out of gas? Did the Oilers figure them out? Do they just naturally counter them? Is it transition? Are they failing to score on power plays? What's the deal? Well, the answer is looking like all of the above, especially after the last game. Okay, it's looking like all of the above. Oh, man, like I said, I might be a Bolts guy first, but it would be pretty heartbreaking to watch Florida, the Panthers specifically, lose a second Stanley Cup in a row. As a sports fan from the state of Florida, the beautiful sunshine state that stays at 90 degrees. Okay, when it rains, it drops to 86. Okay, we have humidity enough, for to perspirate you through the night. I promise. Okay, what we don't have is three consecutive losses, okay, in the Stanley Cup Finals. We just and it's looking very, very hectic right now. So tomorrow, all right, 8 p.m., Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals, Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. Okay, I'm gonna go Panthers. Okay, but I'm a little worried. I think that's the only way I was gonna try to dress it up a different way, guys. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried. For those of you who watch all sports, you guys know what I'm about to say is true. Momentum is everything. Momentum is key. Momentum grants victory to those who ride it and ride it well. The momentum is with the Oilers right now. All right. We're talking about the two best teams. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. One game, all the marbles. But I got my money on the Panthers. I got my money on the Panthers. I gotta have faith in the home team, and I do have faith in the home team. But I will say this: it should have been the Bolts. It should have been the Bolts. But our boys did good. Our boys did good this year. Any case, like I said, guys, tomorrow 8 p.m. If you want to check out that game, that's going to be the game to determine who takes home the cup and whether it returns to Florida or leaves and goes to a completely different city, guys. That's what it is. Go Panthers. Good luck, Panthers. We believe in you. That's it. Good luck, boys. Now, moving on to the MLB. Okay, it's slightly different for the Rays. Okay, so the problem that we have is that we're just not good. Okay, but we're not bad, but we play terribly sometimes, right? So, like, I'll give you an example. Do you guys remember the Buffalo Bills in the early 90s? Okay. I don't want you to think about the 4 Super Bowl losses because that's not where I'm going with this. But if you remember that team, and Jim Kelly, oh God, what was his name? Not Andy Reid, but Andre, what was his last name? Was it Andre Reid? It was Andre Reid. Okay, you guys remember those players? Like that team, great team, right? Great team. And then they lost 4 Super Bowls, and what happened? The team just gradually went downhill from there. You guys remember that? Okay, that's where it feels like the Rays are at. That's really where it feels like the Rays are at. This is a team that found such, and I have to go back to this like religiously. The success that they found last year was otherworldly. If you guys watched baseball last year, there was one glaring aspect of baseball that did not make any sense. When did the Rays get this good? Okay. I mean, Jesus Christ. To start the season where they were 21-1 or something like that to start the season. Oh, it was crap. It was absolutely just ridiculous to watch, right? So then you watch that season. All right, we get to the playoffs, we burn out. Cool, yeah, you get it. Use the nitrous too early in the race. If you guys seen Fast and Furious, like the whole Paul Walker deal, and rest in peace to him, missing the pieces. But you get what I'm saying. It was one of those things where you watch this team had a lot of problems, and they just needed to learn how to weather their own storm, how not to burn out so fast. And that was something that we did last year that I was hoping that we wouldn't do this year. But in the mix of all the injuries, okay, for those of you who've seen the injuries and whatnot, it only seems to get worse from there. We just had a guy get hit in the face by a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, a heater, and of course, it was actually just not, these aren't kind of things that happen on purpose, but Jesus Christ, man, that's painful. Luckily, no broken bones, only lacerations. It's going to take some time to recover. I mean, how could it not? Extremely painful. Again, I mentioned this in the intro, but if you haven't seen it, there's no need to go look unless you're okay with just feeling your side of your face just kind of blow up right here. You know what I'm saying? If you're okay with that, then have fun. But if not, just take my word for it. It hurt. It looked like it hurt, and it did hurt. Okay. And that kind of sums up what's been going on for the Rays this year. So, and yeah, Ralph, listen, bro, both of our teams, bro, are sitting like in the exact same boat. I mean, here are the Rays and the Pirates records right now. The Rays are 38-40. The Pirates are 37-40. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. That was a series that I was thinking to myself, like, look, if the Rays just don't get swept, I'm happy. That was literally my logic, and they didn't get swept. I mean, yeah, we actually won the series, and good job, Rays. But for both of our teams, right? For both of our teams, we're gonna have to play better. We're gonna have to play better. We're also both dealing with similar issues. Not all of them are the same, but similar issues, and nonetheless, I just wish the best for these teams. I'm not impartial to the Pirates. I think they're a good team. Like I've never. That's not a baseball team that I dislike. Realistically, there's not many teams that I really dislike. I mean, I'm not a big Boston fan. Uh, for obvious reasons. The Orioles always play the Rays pretty tough. I'm not the biggest Orioles fan. I honestly don't even know how the Orioles became like who made a wonderful chocolatey snack that goes with milk into a baseball team. Like I understand the fish. The fish are cool, right? Like, Rays, they went from the Devil Rays to Rays like Rays of Light and then like back to the Devil Rays without the Devil Parks. I guess they thought that was a little demeaning. I like all the teams that are like San Francisco's Giants, right? Like that's pretty cool, right? Like eh, Oreos? Oreos. Like what I had for dessert 2 nights ago. Like that snack that they have the commercial for. I love Oreos and milk, by the way, guys. I mean, I hope you guys do too, but I love Oreos and milk. But yeah, and that's exactly right, Ralph. Rosario, he was hurt, man, but he's all right. He's all right, guys. Like I said, everything came back negative. Like I said, no broken bones, nothing like that. Just a hell of a hit, man. Just a hell of a hit and hit like a yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, you guys know the easy button that you go get at Staples or whatever your department store is, where you get your pencils, your paper clips, and your office supplies. They have the button, little red button, and it says easy on. You hit it, boom, and it says easy, right? Like blurts it out. Yeah, he got hit like that. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But in any case, look, I'm glad he's okay. That's the bottom line. I'm glad he's okay. Uh, the score of that game was 3-1. Rays, they eked it out. We've been doing a lot of that. I think I'm just a little concerned about some of the losses that we've been experiencing, like to Chicago. Some of these other teams that the Rays on paper are inherently better than, but choose not to play better than via whatever issue insert here may be. Okay. And obviously, injuries have been a bit again the biggest issue for the Rays. I mean, we've had a couple of guys who have been injured, multiple times. Josh, Brandon. Well, Brandon's been a little bit more healthy than usual, but you get what I'm saying. Like Josh, Randy struggling with being a leader, and let's call it like what it is. We love Randy, Randy Rosarina, guys. Absolutely a dog, a baller, but he's definitely struggling with taking that ownership. In the locker room. In the military, you have COs and NCOs, right? So you have officers and non-commissioned officers, right? So your NCOs, because they're not commissioned, take orders from commissioned officers. Okay, so you might be a higher ranking NCO than your CO, but your CO still has to give those orders because he's got perhaps more experience, more training, more knowledge. And that's one of those things that I think that we're seeing here with Randy. Randy is acting a little bit more like an NCO than a CO, and we need him to be a CO, right? Like, just call it like what it is. So the Rays can get back on track, though. You got to get healthy, got to find some continuity, got to start hitting the ball better, and got to start playing a little bit of defense there. Because there are times, man. I mean, Jose Siri with the great catch off the wall, bro, to end the game, phenomenal, right? Phenomenal. Love it. Want to see more, right? The rest of the work, they got to get better, especially like I said, with the continuity and defense. And let's cut down some of these errors, right? Let's cut down some of these errors because some of these games that we've been blown out of this year, that's not us. That's not us, and it shouldn't be. That used to be us, but it's not us anymore, right? And we have to wear the new identity, which is success, which is continuity, which is teamwork and camaraderie. Just being lethal at every stage of the game, right? Pitching, batting, defense, stealing bases, whatever the case is. The 2-1 double play, everything, every facet of baseball. We just have to get better. We got to put our heads down. We just got to get better. Period. The end. All right, guys. I think the Rays can do it. I don't know if they'll be able to do it by the end of the season. But I think that this coming offseason, the Rays will have some questions to ask about identity that will really determine where this ball club goes over the next few years. But I personally think, as a Rays fan, that we might need this offseason more than we need the postseason this year. I think that's going to be one of those things. And, of course, like I said, in baseball, one offseason is all it takes. We've seen it happen before. We've seen it happen every decade, in fact. So it's going to be a rough rest of the season, but let's see how our boys can do. And let's at least get back to 500, right, boys? Like, let's at least get back to 500. I think that if we can do that, that'll give us something, to hold on to, especially heading into the offseason. But 4 games back in the AL East behind Boston, of course. What can I say? We've been here many times before, many, many, many times before. So hopefully our Rays can figure it out. Next game is going to be against the Mariners tomorrow, 6:50 p.m. If you guys want to check some Rays baseball out, that's going to be a good game to check out. Mariners are rocking a 45-35 record. They're not playing bad baseball. They just came off of a loss to the Marlins. So, we'll see if the Rays are able to take advantage of that and try to get some dubs there. If not, I guess we'll just have to continue seeing the Marlins being the better team here in Florida. I mean, I guess that's just what it's going to come down to. But congratulations to the Marlins. Like I said, good win there against the Mariners, and hopefully that translates over to the Rays, And so we'll see what happens. But again, tomorrow, 6:50 p.m. if you want to check out that Rays baseball game, that's going to be the one for you guys. And guys, pretty much that's everything I have for you this evening. Listen, I really appreciate you guys checking in, and joining the show, checking out what Florida sports has to offer the Sunshine State. I think that there's a lot more to come for us. And, in the meantime, just keep it locked here, guys. We're going to have all that information come to you no matter where you're at, what state you're in. Hell, if you're in another country, if you guys are interested in Florida sports, we're going to have it covered here on Fantasy Sports Radio. So thank you again so much for joining me here, guys. I just want to remind you guys to check out our sponsors over at Planet Jerky. Jerky that's in the whole other planet, guys. And, the wax seals for Cecilia B, guys. Go check out her work. It's absolutely phenomenal what she's able to do there. I'm a huge fan, actually. If you guys remember those middle-aged seals that they used to put on the letters as they would, send them out, I always thought that was probably the coolest part of the entire letter. I don't even care what the letter says. Send me one that says, I love you. That seal on there is going to make it all that much better. So go check it out, guys. Of course, again, PalmTreeSportsRadio.com, IESportsRadio.com, and IESportsRadio /shop. Guys, if you want to get you some merch, some gear, go check it out, guys. I'm also on Twitter at Pujols Cory, and then so is IESports Radio's Palm Tree Sports Radio channel. You can also find that on X and on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Again, IESports Radio. Go check it out. It's a pleasure, man. It's always good on here and to be able to share this information with you guys about what's going on here in the South, the dirty, dirty South. Here's some food for thought, guys. spend some time with your family. I say that every week. But more importantly than that, spend some time with yourselves. Don't forget to meditate. Don't forget to spend time reflecting on the day's events. Learn, from the past, specifically learn from that day if you can. If you're looking for, material as far as that's concerned, Google it. There's something different for everybody out there. I myself, I actually meditate and I pray before I jump in the shower every morning. It's how I get my day started. I think you guys should check that out. Do something to help alleviate whatever mental stress. Like I said, prayer is a big thing. Pray, talk to the man above, or whoever it is that you pray to, whatever it is that you believe in. Definitely do that every day, guys. You got to find the positivity in everything that you do, and just try to keep it moving. I hope you guys have a wonderful work week coming up. Again, it's Sunday evening. It's almost 10 o'clock where I'm at here in sunny South Florida. Well, not so sunny anymore, but you get what I'm saying. But get ready for the work week, guys. It's going to be a long one for the majority of us. It's going to be a hot one here in the South. So hopefully the rain will keep us cool. But I just hope nothing but the best for you guys moving forward. Like I said, spend some time with your family, spend some time with yourselves. Don't work too hard. Don't forget to, have a day of rest. Today was my day of rest. I got plenty of rest today. And, I'm looking forward to what this week has ahead of us. I hope, like I said, that next time I get to see you guys here back at Palm Tree Sports Radio. And of course, check out the other ones too. Check out all the other shows, man, because you have a ton of shows, and it doesn't matter what you're into, you have something for it. So I do it when I'm at work a lot of the time. A lot of shows actually pop up while I'm on the road, so it's easy for me to boom. I throw it on there, throw it on the background, learn everything. So thank you guys again. Have a wonderful evening. Until next time. Peace.